I mean, really, did you see the 2 hour, 45 minutes of running at the mouth, Robert the Burns Bobby the Turd? Wow. Very, very telling. Casey, I have to thank you publicly. I would still be in the shower scrubbing the gah off of me just from sitting next to that pond scum. Anyway, I'll be nice. Er. Thank you, Casey. Thank you, thank you, thank you. We appreciate what you've done. There are a lot of people that have reached out to me already and have said, Eric, did you see? Yeah, I saw a lot of stuff in there, and we're documenting a lot of things, and we need your help. Okay? And if getting involved is important to you, let us know. If you have information about anything that's in this video, okay? If you have corroborating, supporting documentation, if you think that, what he said was true while others are saying it's false, and you can prove that, man, we'd love to hear from you. See, we're with Casey on this. We want the truth. We want the truth. But I'll tell you what, Casey, what you did show yesterday, quack, quack, quack. He's a duck. He walks like a duck. He's feathered like a duck. He smells like a duck, and he quacks like a duck. You demonstrated how he was a professional victim across 4 different continents in our world and more than a decade of time. He has had a complete life of victimhood. Never his fault. Well, maybe just a little, but it wasn't really that bad. Wasn't that bad. Well, listen, here's what we took away from yesterday. He admitted to being an adulterer. Okay? Well, that's between you and your wife. Go do what you do. All right? That's between you and your wife. But having to use that as an excuse to know I didn't rape her? Woo-hoo-hoo-hoo! And then in another unrelated charge prior to, on another continent, you were accused of the same thing, rape. Yeah, but this just happened in another circumstance. Bobby, you've got a whole list of things in here that just are so circumstantial, and we're supposed to accept them at face value? No, I don't think so. And let's go ahead and start with Indian Town, okay? When you spoke, and Casey caught this too. See, in your deposition had a plural on it. It said you met with candidates. Uh-huh. Uh-huh. See, you don't get do-overs. That was under perjury, under oath. Okay? You don't get oopsies. Do-over, no. And on the radio, you said it was a single candidate. You're lying through your damn teeth, and you know it. See, you met with Janet, and you probably met with Anthony as well. That's why that little three men in a tub rub-a-dub-dub ad probably had a lot of discussion input from you. Now, it was interesting, too. You could see how Anthony always put himself in there as the biggest person. Taller. I'm bigger than everyone else in the picture. So that's lie number 1. Lie number 2. As a campaign manager, and let's be very clear about this, here's how I know. I have been a campaign manager. I've been my own campaign manager as well. And at the time, I was campaign manager for Anthony Zwiner, one of the candidates that was running. You see, this is what tipped me off, is the rookie mistake that was made. When you tried to dox Barbara Cloudis with what you openly said were the absentee voter rolls. See, that's where you goofed. Because the process to get those rolls, Bobby, you have to go through the supervisor of elections. Why? Because they are statutorily controlled. And you have to sign under the penalty of felony that if they are not used properly, that you could go to jail for a very, very long time. I wish it had been you. It would have made this more fun, but it wasn't. It actually turned out that it was Janet Hernandez. See, she was the third person. You didn't. We have communications with the supervisor of elections. We have already spoken to them. We know what their statement is, and we have the email that will confirm it. You, sir, do not have public access to those records. You have access to the voter rolls. That's what gives you the access, is the voter rolls. I can get those too as a citizen. I don't even have to be a party member, which again you lied about. You are on the Brevard Republican Executive Committee. We'll get into that one here in a minute. But with that privilege, that also would then, using your title as campaign manager, okay, you and I both as campaign managers had access to the same demographic information. It's a simple request of the supervisor of elections, and they'll gladly send it to you because it's public record. It's a taxpayer courtesy service that Vicki and Debbie and the crew run here in Martin County. See, we have relationships, not always agreeing eye to eye, but most of the time we do. And when we don't, we're able to get things resolved amicably, Bobby, you see, because we have adults in our community that are doing things like making sure that people that use the absentee voter rolls, which the Florida legislature has said are statutorily protected, when they have those rolls that are statutorily protected, we have to speak up. Because if the rules, yeah, I know, what's the big deal? Come on, man, huh, Guyton? What's the big deal? Come on, man. That was a couple years ago. Come on, man. Come on, man. I'm coming on for you. I'm coming on strong. Miss Janet, you care to explain? You care to get out ahead of this before this becomes a full-fledged investigation? You see, Bobby will probably throw you under the bus because he's got nothing to lose. He's got enough fires going on. He doesn't want to deal with this one, too. See, you furnished that list, Miss Hernandez. You furnished that list in a way that Robert Burns was able to get it and use it. That's the truth. Because we know how they came into existence through the supervisor of elections. We know how many were sent out. We know who had access to them. Myself being one. And if you think for a minute I would give someone like Robert Burns Jr. deterred. Oh, by the way, someone asked, why do we use junior and deterred? The number three, the turd. I'm sorry, I got my mouthpiece in. And it's really simple. We've seen him alias Junior in the past, where it's just Bobby Burns Jr. to throw people off his track. So, we want to make sure we get all of his aliases. His official military documents say Robert W. Burns deterred. So, maybe we'll drop the junior, but it was a good catch. Thank you for the question, and we hope that answers that question. But here again, if you're going to have rules and you don't enforce them, what then? See, and I had this conversation with Mr. Zwiner. I said, Tony, you and I played by the rules with this. Our campaign lost. Your opponent, Janet, did not play by the rules, and her campaign won. What do you think Bobby might have done? What do you think this type of activity might have done to hamper people from wanting to vote for you? What were they working on? What weakness did they find? You see, because he's already said that lying and deceitful advertising are okay because it's political. Do you agree with that? Is that what you agree with? Because Guyton Stone agrees with it. Janet Hernandez agrees with it. They used his services to get you to vote for them in Indiantown. Is that what we stand for? is this kind of outrage. So why am I upset? Yeah, it was a couple of years ago, and I haven't let go. We've been like bulldogs. Because you're messing with the system that is supposed to be there when we all want to go in a direction and move to do something. It keeps us from killing each other. Rules are made to be civilized. Yeah, civilized. There are things we don't do to our brother. Those are rules. God had 10 of them for us. Hard enough to follow those. But doggone it, if you're going to make this legislatively required, this signature is necessary to protect these names, then you cannot let people like this get away with violating your law and nothing being done, or your law means nothing. Zilch. That's kind of what I took away from Mr. Zweiner's response to me, and I hope that he does respond and let you know how disenfranchised he feels. Because he's the guy that followed the rules. He's the guy that played by the rules. He's the guy that tried to inform you. He's the guy that was actually talking substance. He's the guy that wasn't talking racial breakdown. He's the guy that had ideas. He's the guy that everyone was being told was a racist. He's the one that everyone was being told was a white supremacist. Him and Guy Parker. Oh, well, that's okay. It's politics. You can do that. That's protected. Okay. Okay. But don't come back here no more. See, we're better than this. I could go to talk to anybody on the streets out there in Indian Town, and they'll tell you we're better than this. We're better than what we are being portrayed in the way that we're acting. We're better than this. Why is Guyton Stone still sitting as a councilman? There's information coming out now that he has lied to FDLE under oath. Okay, so it's information that you read on social media coming out. Well, I trust the source really well. I will tell you that, again, I am telling you what I'm seeing. I'm giving you a lot of my humble opinion. But let's face the reality, and we're going to talk about another reality coming up here in another story, because I don't want to keep you too long. You're busy. So am I. I got other things to do instead of stand here and ramble on. But we want your help. Look down here. This even goes up to Brevard County. We want to ask every one of our brethren in Brevard County to watch both Part 1 and Part 2. If you know Mr. Burns, Robert Burns Jr. III, watch these. And when you go, oh, no, that ain't right, pause it. Write down the time stamp. What time and in what video did he say that? Let us know. We're putting together a timeline. See, again, because we want to show you how he's walked across 4 continents for well over a decade. And, you know, somehow he's come out smelling like a rose? No. And you know what? Convictions, non-convictions, irrelevant to me. It's an irrelevancy. No, it really, really is. Because I know of no other people in my life that have run across my path that have openly had, publicly, as many investigations, charges, restraining orders, violative charges of assault, rape, sodomy, all sorts of things. Grand larceny. Oh, sure, I walk across every year. Oh, come on, guys, don't we all just have someone that, I'm going to go get even with him. I'm going to file charges against him. Really? Really? So we're working at putting a timeline together. And the reason we're doing this is not to destroy this guy. He needs help, folks. He needs help. He really does. Pray for him, please. The reason we're doing this is that he is influencing and participating in the outcome of votes that are being taken publicly by elected officials. He is influencing and participating in the direction of the Republican Party in Brevard County. He is reflective of the nature of that party by the fact that they will not relinquish him as a member for good reason. He does not reflect the good values of the Republican Party, and that's because I'll promise you this, he's a planet operative. This goes back, well over a decade ago, Tides Foundation. You know, all those tinfoil hat things that you were hearing back then telling us we were all crazy about sustainable development and Agenda 2030 and the New World Order. That was all just crazy tinfoil hat stuff. But, and by the way, if you can help us get some new conspiracy theories, please email us, editor@talkaboutmartin.com, because all of ours have come true. Back to Bobby, though. He needs to be helped. He really needs to be institutionalized and given some professional treatment. I personally, I'm not even going to get into the forgiveness aspect. This is one of my weaknesses as a Christian, is forgiveness. It takes me a damn time. So, look, all I'm going to say is we need him removed from positions of authority where he is influencing the election of and the outcome of elections. To wit, he came here to Indiantown and falsely accused a candidate publicly. He falsely, against felonious warning, used documents that were privileged. He doesn't care about you. And if the system doesn't take a look at this and publicly say, he did something wrong, he did something right, we looked into it. If you don't at least look into it publicly and let people know that you're looking at it, what good is your law, and why should anybody else want to follow it down the road? Sort of like zoning in Indiantown, and we're going to talk about that. Why zone a house single family when there's 15 souls sleeping in it at night? Anyway, we'll get back to that. We're going to get back more to Bobby Burns. Folks, if you want to help out, like and subscribe. Let people know that you're on board with us. Send us the information that you have on Mr. Burns. Woo! We're fired up. Life is good. See what one person can do when they step out, and we need you now to help us make a difference too. We are a group of unapologetic Americans that are here to make a difference in our world. We're glad you're with us. Stand by as we bring you more. Oh, let's go, because there is more. That's all for now. No more out.